Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first It's Learning Academy webinar for remote learning. We are going to wait just about 1 or 2 more minutes so everybody can get dialed in, and we're going to get started in just a minute. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Navigating the Basics It's Learning Academy webinar. And before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. Please remember that you can answer or ask questions, and we have several of us that will be answering your questions as we go along throughout the webinar. So don't wait till the end. Go ahead, and as soon as you have a question, you can type them in the question box or type them in the chat box, and then we will get those answered as best as we can as we go along. If you'll notice on our It's Learning Remote Learning webinar page, we have a variety of courses that we'll be offering over the next week. And you'll notice that the webinars are offered several times. So if you miss one, jump on another one and make sure that you get registered for each one. You can do that all here on the same page. And if you'll notice, we have them all back to back. So we have kind of a hard stop point today. So if there are any other questions that we don't get to, please email any questions after the webinar to briefing@itslearning.com, and we will also put that information in the follow-up email that you will be receiving tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and get started talking about navigating, basic navigations of the site. Getting started with site navigation. Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about navigating the It's Learning site. So first, we're going to go ahead and get logged into your site. And you'll notice that most of the time when you log in, you will start at this home screen. When you see this home screen, there'll be a purple toolbar up at the top. That's what we're going to talk about today first, the site toolbar. The first thing you see is your home tab, which shows you all of your courses you're enrolled in as a teacher, co-teacher, or even a student. But all of those courses show up right here on the course card or home page. You can also click updates on this page, and it will show you any recent updates that have happened to any of your courses. You can set this as your home page, or you can set the course cards as your home page. But here it will show you if anything's been added to a course, if you have any tasks, or any upcoming events. Next up is the course tab. When you click that tab, a quick window will drop down your most recently used courses. The green button allows you to add new courses, and you have a list of your most recently viewed courses. If you click all courses, you go to a window that shows all the courses you're enrolled in. The group tab will show any groups you're a part of, such as districts, campuses, or organizations. Each one of these has the ability to have an internal communication dashboard. Some districts use these dashboards to push out information, announcements, and upcoming events. The calendar tab will show you anything that is due or any upcoming events in your courses that you enrolled in as a teacher or a student. You can even search for calendars of your colleagues or your students so you can see if there are overlapping events. The plans tab within the calendar will allow you to see your upcoming plans or previous plans by searching through the chevrons forwards or backwards. And you can also, again, search for any colleagues or student plans so you can see if there's any overlapping conflicts. When you select a plan, it will show you only items that that person has selected to share with other people to view. This is a setting that we'll talk more about in the Plans Tool webinar. Next up is the Library tab, where we host millions of open educational resources and also any district content that your district may have purchased and would like to add to the library. You can start by searching by keyword, and the library will bring up any element that is tagged to that keyword. You can search by grade level. You can add a standard. You can select the type of resource you're looking for, even select a reading level, whether you would like independent practice or guided practice. You can filter by resources in different languages and also by content provider or author. The Your Students tab will provide an overview of all of your students and all of their courses and grades on one page. This gives you the ability to keep an eye on all of your students in one simple spot. Next up, we have our internal communication, a notification, and an instant messaging tab, where you can send, archive, and receive messages. Under your name, you will notice you have your files and your settings and your ePortfolio. Now that we've talked about the site toolbar, let's jump into a course so we can talk about the course navigation toolbar. You'll notice when you go into a course that the course navigation toolbar is white and just below the purple site toolbar. This is what we'll be talking about now. Looking at the top left of the toolbar next to the course name, we'll start with the Overview tab. This is where you can have your lesson plans viewable by students and any announcements, any follow-up tasks, or calendar events are easily displayed here in one place. Next, the Plans tool is where you can go to add your lesson plan. The Resources tab is your internal file structure for your course. You can add folders or anything you would need for instructing your students. Various types of resources are available within itslearning, which we will talk about in another webinar. Next, the 360 reports give teachers valuable information about how the students are interacting in the course and with instructional materials. You can see an overview of their activity, their progress, and their grades. You can also set up notifications and also have summaries of individual resources within the course. You can also look at individual students and their individual login history, activity within the course, the days and times they've logged in, their progress, including time on task for each resource within the course, and their grade trends. Under the More tab, you'll find several more items to take a look at, including the participants in the course, which will show you how to add, delete, or send emails to participants in the course. And then, of course, we can jump into the course groups. We can create course groups. We can create auto groups where the system does the group for us, and again, send emails to those groups. Next up is the course settings. Course properties and features allow you to personalize your course. You can add a course banner, add your learning standards, and assessment criteria. The course trash can is a holding bin for anything that you've deleted in the course. Any resources, assignments, or any lesson plans are here for you to easily filter and restore if you need them later. The person icon in the top right of the toolbar allows you to view your course as a different profile, such as a student. The green button is a quick add for you to quickly add resources to your course. We hope this quick tour of the itslearning site helps you get started with your courses today.
All right, so that was a quick overview of the site navigation. And so we're opening the floor up for questions. So if you have any questions about where to find something in the site or navigating our site, please don't hesitate to type in a questions, and we are here to answer those questions. So I'm not seeing any questions, but we will wait a few more minutes in case y'all have some more questions. That might come to you in a minute. Keep in mind that if for some reason questions come to you after the webinar is over, in the chat box, we put the email that you can email your questions to. That is briefing@itslearning.com. So you can always submit questions there after the webinar is over, but we are still open for questions. And anything that you might have. I would also be interested in hearing from any of y'all about your experiences in the sites or how you have started helping your students navigate the site. So we do have one question that came in, and somebody wanted to know, how do you make the course cards move? So these course cards on the home page can actually, you can personalize them quite a bit. I can actually just click and drag them and put them in an order. So if I want my first period, second period, third period, or maybe I want them grouped by content, favorite teacher first, whatever, I can certainly switch those cards around. And if you click the edit pencil, you can also change the course card colors. I know teachers really like this, especially the teachers that work, that teach separate multiple content areas or grade levels. They can color code this by content area or grade level. And if you also have co-teachers, you can add, and so that you can have multiple teachers' pictures on your course card. Or if you don't want your picture at all on your course card, you have that option as well. This is also where if your courses are created from an integration or from rostering, automatic rostering, that course name might be a little weird because it might be kind of what is the official course name and master schedule. You can come in here and actually click here and give this a friendly name. Which could be just like, your name and, math 7th grade or your course and level. And that way, kids don't have to navigate through that long course title and course code. So we can have that.
Andrea, can you go over how a teacher can turn on comments for the overview announcements for the students?
I'm sorry, Rachel. Can you repeat that question for me?
A question came in about how can I turn on comments for the overview/announcements for the students?
For the overview / announcement. So we're jumping into a course then, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All righty. So if you jump into a course, here is your overview page, and down here you have your announcements. And when I go to add an announcement, okay, see the options tab pops up. So right here, I have the option to disable comments. This is also if I wanted the same announcement to be in multiple courses. I don't have to do it, individually in each course. And then I can schedule the announcement to turn on and turn off or be visible or not visible at certain times. So this is where I would go to disable comments, and then I would just add that announcement and post it. Did that answer that question?
I think that answers that question. And we did have another question that came in about plans, and I know we'll get to this in the plans webinar, but the question came in, are the plans individual lessons or groups of lessons?
So yes, you're absolutely right. We do have that webinar for lesson plans coming up. Let's see. We have we have plans part 1. This is basically just adding the plans. That's kind of where we talk about that question, whether you do them by groups of plans or by individual plans. And honestly, the answer is you can do it either way. You can do it whichever way suits you and your course. But we demonstrate that specifically in this plans part 1 webinar, which will be coming up today very shortly at 4 p.m. Eastern. So, and then, of course, we will be repeating this several more times. So if you can't jump on today, you have several options to take a look at that. But the short answer to that question is you can do it either direction. But if you actually want to see an example of that, we'll be going over that in that course number 3, Plans Part 1 webinar.
I don't think I see any new questions. I'm running through them.
And just another reminder that we will be sending you a follow-up email tomorrow. It will have the recording of this webinar and some other information in that email for you, such as the email that you can submit questions and some other items. So be looking out for that tomorrow. So you will have the opportunity to go back and watch the webinar. If you have additional questions or anything, you can certainly go back and review it.
And Andrea, we do have one more question pop in, and I think this will be answered on another webinar. But the question is, if you have an assignment for the students, where do you post that? Is that a plan or on the overview page?
That is a great question. So if I have an assignment, and we will also be talking about, that's actually in plans webinar number 2, where we talk about adding resources to the lesson plans. If you have an assignment, again, there's a couple different ways. I like to do it through my lesson plans because it pops up right here then on the home screen or on the overview page. So you'll notice here's an assignment right here. So it will show up right here if you do it through the plans tool. That's the way I like to do it. If you don't want to put it in your plans tool and you just go and add it through the resources tab, if you give it a due date, students will see it over here in their follow-up tasks. So that's kind of 2 different ways that you can add an assignment and 2 different ways that students will view that.
Thank you. I don't see any new questions. I think that is all, Andrea. I'll give it a few more seconds.
Yeah, we can wait a few more seconds just in case somebody's still typing in a question. But again, just keep in mind that we do have this Academy of webinars going on to hopefully meet some of your teachers' needs and some of y'all's needs over the next week with this very sudden remote learning situation. And so we have some of these are chunked. Obviously, the idea of today's webinars or this webinar series is to kind of give you bite-sized little pieces so that you can kind of take in a little bit of the system, think about it, reflect on it, maybe even practice it, and then go to the next webinar when you have an opportunity. So that's why they're very short, very quick, hopefully to kind of just give you little bite-sized little pieces. And by the end of the entire webinar series, hopefully you have exactly what you need to get started. But we are always looking for suggestions. So if you have a need or a suggestion, you can also email that to briefing@itslearning.com. We can certainly reach out to you or have add to our webinar series if we get enough demand and questions for that. We'll be more than happy to do that. So keep that in mind as well. All right, Rachel, I don't see any more questions. How about you?
Nope, I think we have covered them all for this webinar.
All righty. Well, thank everyone. I really appreciate you joining us today. And again, I just let you know that you can always visit itslearning.com/US remote learning webinars topic, and you can see all of our upcoming webinars. You can view by topic or you can view by date, whichever one is suitable for you. And you can also register right there on the webpage and register for any of those webinars. If you register and you don't attend, you're still going to get the link to the recorded webinar. So even if you think that it's something you might want to go back and watch later, please go ahead and register so we can follow up with you and get that recording out to you. And thank you very much, Tom, for putting the website link in the chat box. So I'll give y'all just a second if y'all want to copy down or click that and open that website so you can bookmark that on your computers. That is all of our upcoming webinars, and we really appreciate everyone joining us today. And please join us again for our next webinar, or this one you see there will be at 1 p.m. again on Friday, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We also do have handouts. If you look in the GoToMeeting page, there is under handouts, there are some quick start guides that we have added for you that kind of takes you through step by step of what we talked about today between navigating the site and navigating courses. And it's just a quick overview, just a quick start guide to help you get started. But it is a handout if you would like to download those. We'll also try to add those into the email as well. So I appreciate everybody joining. Oh, wait, we got another question. All right. Yes, do not forget that we do have our next webinar starting in 10 minutes. So if you are interested in a little bit more about our plans, part 1 of our plan tool is going to tell you how to add a plan, whether to add them by individuals, by lessons, by dates, by units. We'll give you examples of that. So plans 1 is at 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm sorry. Next will be coming up in 10 minutes, we'll be adding courses and participants. And this is mainly for teachers and districts who do not use automatic rostering, or if for some reason you need to add additional courses and your district allows you to do that, say for organizations or activities or groups, student groups. Alrighty, I think we have all the questions answered.
Yep.
So thank you very much for joining, and don't forget to join us for our other webinars, or if you have additional questions, please email briefing@itslearning.com. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.